The reason why it seems it's hard to change things in reality is because this moment is all that there is. And so to try and change things is to put forth that energy, that momentum of trying to change things. So it's an endless cycle. But those who are born into wealth, for example, or any sort of richness, there's multiple forms of wealth, they know that like attracts like, the momentum carries, the momentum you feel more in the week. You know, it's going to guide you into realities that are either appeasing or not. And so it's a subtle nature, the nature of God, the nature of I am, of what you're impressing on the conscious mirror of who you see yourself as. So if you're not where you want to be yet, the first step is seeing that you actually are where you want to be. And you had to go through the contrast to realize that. But if you're not there, if you don't have enough money, even when you get the money, it's never going to be enough. And that's why there's billionaires, there's millionaires that will live in scarcity the rest of their life. Because once you get more money, you have the fear of losing what you already have. But the most ultimate form of wealth is living right now, is seeing everything the way you want it to be right now. And then, like the Bible says, it will be so. Whatever you believe, may it be done to you. So it's pretty effed up. God is pretty effed up. If there's a God, no, I'm just kidding. But it does suck because if you're in that sucky reality, if you're lost in that, it seems impossible to get out of. It seems like there's no reason to even try because you've tried before, it didn't work. But that's the thing, you were trying. And this moment carries on to the next, builds momentum. So trying, the next day you're trying, eventually you're going to burn out because it's not a natural part of who you are. But once you believe it, once you know it, once it's a natural part of who you are, that's when you'll see it. But there's no coincidences in this world. And so reality is a perfect mirror. Have you ever noticed you wake up grumpy, everyone else seems to be grumpy? You're doing really good, everyone else seems to be doing good? That's not a coincidence. Nothing is random here. This is a personalized, avatar based reality simulator that we're in. But there's only one way out, and that's within. And there's only one way to get everything you want, and that's within. Because as within, so without. Or as it says in the Bible, as on heaven, so on earth. It was describing the same thing. And so, while this knowledge, little bits and pieces of it, were kept in our religions, the main chunk of it was lost. But behold, we're living in the age of information now. Except a lot of us are so disconnected from our intuition, we can't tell the truth from the BS. But it's your time now. You've struggled long enough. The whole universe has struggled long enough. All of America. We're tired. We're tired of the government. We're tired of the way the world is. But the way of changing it is not electing someone. There's no one that can change the world to what you want it to be. It starts with us as individuals, changing our energy, our frequency, our thought forms, and that's the thoughts, the spells that we're subconsciously casting out into the world. And then whatever we cast out, we get back. You reap what you sow. So the subtle nature of the universe, of I am, and the I am is Jesus within you, the loving, pure consciousness, who you really are. It already has everything it needs. Never was missing anything. That's your true nature. But when we get disconnected from that, we continue that momentum of living in fear, living in scarcity, living life like something's missing. But it was the only reason why something was missing is because we thought something was missing. We were looking around. See, I don't have that. I want that. Because truthfully be told, the universe wants whatever you want, and it's willing to give it to you. But because of our parents, because of our society, our teachers, you know, practically everyone that raised us wasn't living their dream life, wasn't doing everything that they wanted to do. But this is what the return of Christ is the return of this consciousness, this awareness. Because then when you are fulfilled, your cup runneth over, you attract the like attracts like. And then pretty soon life is awesome. You're famous, you got all the money, you're Adam Sandler. You're Michael Jackson before everything got weird. You ever wonder how these people get to where they are now? It's not because they worked very hard. It's because they were doing what their heart was calling them to do. It's because they were in love. They were in bliss. They were in flow. You really think Michael Jackson would be where he's at if he did anything else with his life? Of course not. And the same for you. If you're not doing what you love, what your heart's calling is, however that may look like, whatever you may want to do, then of course we're not going to get that abundance back because we're not giving out love. But when we're in that state, when we're helping people out of love or entertaining people out of love, and there's a million ways that may look, but whatever we give, we shall get. And so to work a job, to do stuff that's just, instead of, I want this, I love this, I'm going to do this. When it's out of need and necessity, that's going to attract more needing. That's going to attract just more similar energy on the daily. And so be aware of our subtlety, the subtlety of our thought forms, the subtlety of what we think we have to do in the world. Take care of yourself like you're God's pet. Because that's what you are. You're the avatar, and God is a part of you. But if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not doing what you love, if you're not connecting with nature, making sure your own needs are met, then no one else is. And no partner, no career can feed that side of you. And so fill yourself from within on the daily. And then pretty soon that momentum carries on to the next day and the next day. And you'll start having great days. And then you'll start having a couple days out of the week that's just awesome. And then you'll know when you're out of alignment. And then pretty soon it'll be weird to be out of alignment. It'll be weird for things not to go your way. It'll be weird not to get what you want. Because there's two different worlds each of us could be living in. A lot of the world lives somewhere in between. They think it's all coincidence. But it's not. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Or as the Bible says, He who has, more is given. He who doesn't have, more is taken from him. And so, if this metaphysical thing hasn't worked for you yet, it's just that it's so subtle. It's just so subtle.